Ich grüße euch, edle Damen und Herren, und heiße euch herzlich willkommen zurück im Grundkurs Gaming und zu Kingdom Come Deliverance. Wir sind gerade ins Benediktinerkloster eingetreten. Ich glaube jedenfalls, es sind Benediktiner und sind gerade dabei, uns ein bisschen umzusehen, umzuhören.
What troubles you?
Bevor wir unsere erste Nacht hier verbringen werden.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know, but I've no time for idle chat. I transcribe books from dawn till dusk. I've been doing it for years and I'll be doing it till the day I die.
What, you do nothing else?
It is my penance and my blessing. And now, brother, if you don't mind, I'd like to get this page finished.
Oh, echt jetzt?
Praise be to Christ, brother.
Was hat er denn angestellt?
I'd like to ask about something.
Can't you see I'm working? Ask someone else.
Okay, der Mann ist schwer beschäftigt. Alles klar. Ja. Also wir wissen schon mal, wo die verbotenen Bücher gelagert werden. Ich weiß auch, ich brauche einen Dietrich. Ich weiß auch, von wem ich den bekomme, theoretisch. Ich weiß nur nicht, wo ich diesen Mann finde. Ich hoffe, ich werde mich hier nicht allzu oft verlaufen. Ich weiß auch nicht, wann die Nachtruhe hier losgeht.
Waiting pays off. There's no hurry.
Ah, die wollen ja einen neuen Abt wählen.
Talk to me, brother.
Ja, unterhalten wir uns ein bisschen.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Oh Gott.
Who's in charge of things around here?
Oh, Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always travelling on. On top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps the good Lord will bless him with many more years of life.
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Well, then we elect a new one.
Okay.
Are there any candidates to be the new abbot?
Yes, there are. Brothers John and Nevlas. Oh, cursed elections. Since the brothers began talking about them, and there's only been strife in the monastery. On one side are brothers who'd like to see John as abbot, on the other those who support Nevlas. And they seem to be capable of fighting about it forever.
Na super.
Tell me about John.
John is Circatoren, the oldest brother here. It would be only natural if he took the crozier from Peter. He has experience, merit, and composure. He'd lead the monastery wisely.
I'd like to know about Nevlas.
Nevlas manages the monastery's properties. He doesn't have the most experience, but his drive and heart are pure. His faith firm, and his ideas rational. Although perhaps he's too keen to change our routines here, which many brothers don't like.
Was will er denn ändern?
Why does it matter so much who wins?
Because the future direction of the monastery hangs in the balance. The younger brothers feel they have to work more than their superior brothers, and that some brothers are more concerned with their own comfort than with worshipping God. The older brothers take a different view. They say the younger monks want privilege they haven't earned, and each side has its own candidate.
I thought politics weren't part of the monastic way of life.
You're right. But we know nothing besides the monastery, and the abbot's decision can influence our entire life. Some of the brothers take it very personally.
Tja, gut. Aufruhr im Kloster. Ach, Redekunst eine neue Stufe. Das ist natürlich ganz günstig.
Are there ever any disagreements between the brothers?
Unfortunately, yes. The biggest quarrel right now are about the election of the new abbot. They can already see poor Peter in his grave.
Na, super Sache.
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
Well, the old abbot is practically on his deathbed. There are two candidates. Half the monastery wants John, the other half Nevlas. There's no chance they'll come to an agreement, but you probably already noticed the atmosphere around here.
Okay, wissen wir Bescheid.
Tell me something about life here.
Prayer, work, obedience. That just about sums it up.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St. Benedict?
7 centuries ago, St. Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rules, which we still follow today. They're read at every meal. The fundamental precepts are obedience, work, and prayer. We're fully devoted to serving God. The outside world, beyond the monastery walls, is foreign to us.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue, the grass is just as green. Perhaps the rulers changed, but the greatest ruler of them all will remain unchanged throughout the ages.
Da ist noch ein Novize, mit dem müssen wir uns unbedingt mal unterhalten bei Gelegenheit.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
Well, it was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied the place for some time. But then the order was restored and the brothers of the true faith returned.
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God. They were driven away and their books burned.
Oh, Bücher verbrannt, na toll.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior, the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the Circators. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish bad behavior.
Gut zu wissen, okay.
What can you tell me about the novices here?
And what can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and to live a monastic life. After a year, you can make your vows and become a fully fledged brother.
I meant something specific about the brothers that are here.
But you know them yourself. Yorick is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager, perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too worldly for a monk. Antonius is hard-working and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse, and no one knows much about him. And then we have you, about who I know nothing.
Na okay, also Lukas ist unser heißer Kandidat hier. Der sagt nämlich nichts.
Can you leave the monastery?
Where would you go? You've everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are closed and locked tight, so no one can get in or out.
Okay, gut zu wissen.
Who would you like to be the new abbot?
I've thought long and hard about it, but I've decided to support John.
Okay, dann gucken wir mal, ob wir hier da hinten ist ein Novize. Mit dem wollen wir uns doch mal unterhalten, würde ich sagen. Aber hier können wir Sachen klauen. Sollten uns aber nicht erwischen lassen.
Greetings,
Das ist
brother.
Joachim.
I'm Gregor and I'm new here.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't get into trouble.
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come in handy.
Okay, der älteste Novize, meint er damit, er ist schon am längsten hier als Novize, oder?
I'm interested in the other novices. Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present, or future that anyone could find interesting.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was better than living in poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle and send me here. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking out manure.
Na okay, gut zu wissen.
Who would you vote for as the new abbot if you could?
Why do you care? We don't have the right to vote, so we shouldn't get mixed up in it.
I'm just interested, that's all.
I like John better. But like I've said, it's not our place to get involved. It's enough that Antonius is mixed up in it. Don't you start too.
Antonius interessiert sich also dafür.
Why such haste?
So, heute können wir noch ein bisschen machen, was wir wollen. Eine Fackel nehmen wir mal direkt mit. Die können wir vielleicht des Nachts noch gebrauchen. So, ich weiß nicht, warum die Musik hier so... Oh.
Watch your step, brother.
Ja, Entschuldigung, ein Circator. Mit dem reden wir doch mal.
I'm Gregor and I'm new here.
I know. I saw you in the church during ceremony. I have the
Why
feeling
such
we'll be
haste?
meeting again soon, and often. You see, I'm the Circator.
What does that mean?
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that everything's the way it should be.
When it's not the way it should be?
Then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly you won't require correction, will you, brother?
Natürlich nicht.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Are there ever any disagreements between the brothers?
Unfortunately, yes. The biggest quarrels right now are about the election of the new abbot. They can already see poor Peter in his grave.
Okay, also die haben hier alle dann die gleichen Dialoge. Wen wünschst du dir als neuen Abt? Wahrscheinlich auch ein Circator. Circator Johann, Circator Stibor, ein Mönch. Eine verschlossene Tür. Wo geht's da hinten hin? Mal gucken. Ein Mönch. Ah. Das ist doch schon wieder Joachim. Was macht denn
Talk
der
to me,
hier?
brother.
Keine Ahnung, was er hier tut. Wir gucken uns vielleicht noch mal ein bisschen im Klostergarten um. Oder wo geht's hier hin? Keine Ahnung. Kommunionskelch, ja, ich will jetzt nicht das ganze Kloster ausräumen hier. Deswegen bin ich nicht hier. Es ist schon einigermaßen spät. Wir sollten dann demnächst wahrscheinlich wirklich mal schlafen. Der Bibliothekar.
What would you like?
Is it possible to learn something about the other novices in the library?
Only the abbot and the prior keep such records.
And can I see them?
No. The abbot writes and keeps his records in his chambers, and only he and the prior are permitted to read them.
Ja, okay, interessant.
Is there anything I can do to help here?
I'm glad you asked. There's one thing, a silly thing really. I haven't thought to mention it to anyone before, but not long ago, a brother brought me a crumpled piece of parchment. He says he found it rolled up in a hole in the wall. The thing is, it was a page from Ovid.
Ovid? What is that? Is it the name of a book?
Not what, but who. Ovid was a great Roman poet. We have a few volumes by him in the library, but one of them vanished one day. Now I believe I can guess what happened. Brother Eustace, may the earth rest lightly on him, was quite narrow-minded when it came to classical literature.
Watch your step, brother.
If a book had any mention of woman at all, he condemned it as a heretical work. If he'd had his way, all such books would have been burned. Ovid's The Art of Love must have been such a thorn in his side that he stole it from the library, tore it up, and hid the pages wherever he could.
Na geil. Also müssen wir uns hier doch ein bisschen umgucken.
Can you tell me something about the book?
The Art of Love is a sort of manual instructing young people how to find and maintain love. It's a lovely work. I don't understand what bothered Eustace so much about it, but as I was saying, he considered the book to be immoral and tore it up to stop it corrupting any of his brothers.
Oh, would you like me to put the book back together again?
Absolutely! Eustace's wits weren't the sharpest, so I'm sure he didn't destroy any of the pages. I imagine he hid them throughout the monastery. It might take you a while to find them all, but when you do, you can rest assured Ovid will return to his rightful place in the library.
Okay, wenn wir uns den Bibliothekar zum Freund machen, wäre das natürlich schon mal eine Hilfe.
Good. I'll look around for it.
Thank you, brother. It's of no great importance, but if you can find all 10 pages, I'll be most grateful.
Ja, es ist ja nicht so ein dickes Buch.
Where should I look?
If I knew, I wouldn't have asked you to do it. The pages of the book could be hidden anywhere, from the garden to the refectory.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Okay. Hätten wir das auch mal geklärt. Das ist ein normaler Mönch. Hier draußen haben wir noch ein paar Leute, mit denen wir uns unterhalten können. Lukas zum
I'm
Beispiel,
Gregor, a novice.
unser
I saw you at the
Hauptverdächtiger.
ceremony.
I know. It was hard not to notice you.
And you are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm happiest alone.
I'd like to know something about the other novices.
I don't know much, but ask away.
Tell me about Antonius.
I'd like to, but there's nothing to tell. I've never spoken to him. I've never asked about him.
Okay, von dem erfahren wir also nichts.
You really don't know anything about anyone? Well, thanks anyway.
Don't get upset. I'm sorry I can't tell you more. I just haven't felt like getting to know anyone yet.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's nothing I can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of thing.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas. Nothing else matters.
Okay.
Come on. Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was. I never will be again. What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
If you could, who would you vote for to be the abbot?
But I can't vote, so what's the point of worry? Ask Antonius. He often talks about it, and I'm sure he has an opinion.
Ja, wahrscheinlich. Also Lukas, mein Hauptverdächtiger im Moment noch.
And besides, God will be
Ich
up.
suche auch den Kellerer.
Ah, Gregor, talk to me.
Ja, kannst du mir vielleicht noch was
I'd
über
be
Lukas
interested to hear what
erzählen?
you think about the other novices. I'm interested in Lucas.
No one knows much about him. He doesn't talk to anyone. He works, eats, sleeps, then does it all again the next day. It's as if he wanted to get it all over with as soon as possible. By it, I mean his entire life.
Der hat was angestellt wahrscheinlich, ne?
What about Yodok?
Be on good terms with him. If you show even the slightest hint you don't like him, he'll make your life hell. He's a slimy little pedant who'll rat you out to the superiors. Once he finishes his novitiate, I imagine he'll want to climb his way up the ladder to at least Circator. He's a man who enjoys ordering others around.
Na,
That's all.
geil.
Thanks.
Da müssen wir also ein bisschen aufpassen. Ein Mönch, auch ein Mönch. Alles Mönche hier. Okay.
In a rush to pray?
Ja, immer. Gehen die jetzt essen oder was geht hier ab? Warum sind eigentlich unsere Vitalität und Redekunst und sowas noch runtergesetzt? Ich weiß es nicht. Den Klosteralltag, den gucken wir uns morgen auf jeden Fall an. Verlorene Seiten. Täglich grüßt das Klosterleben. Ja, lernen die anderen Novizen kennen. Da fehlen uns noch, einer fehlt uns noch, ne? Müssen wir mal gucken.
Watch your step, brother.
Ist das hier wieder Joachim oder ist es jemand, den wir noch nicht kennen? Ja, das ist Joachim. Jetzt scheinen alle schlafen zu gehen langsam.
Today's food? What do they do in that kitchen? I bet they keep the tastiest morsels for themselves and give us the slop that's left over.
Ich hätte gern den Kellerer noch getroffen irgendwie. Aber bisher versteckt er sich. Hier schlafen auch schon eine ganze Menge Mönche. Ich weiß gar nicht, wo unser Bett ist. Das müssen wir auch gleich mal noch rausfinden. Oh, Konstantin.
Why are you waking me? Go away.
Okay, also Konstantin will nicht mit uns reden. Eigentlich mal direkt ein bisschen schade. Oh, Bruder Nevlas.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nevlis, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade with the outside world.
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and send them out.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life and that any surpluses go to the poor. But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swallow up the few resources we have left.
Na geil.
I'm interested in the election of the new abbot.
You're not alone. Everyone's so worked up about that they spent no time considering how they could make the monastery a better place now.
Why? What's wrong with it now?
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer. The older brethren bend the rules of the order to make them fit their interests. So, to balance the scales, they want the novices to lead exemplary lives. Sin abounds here, just as in the outside world.
Nicht so geil.
What sins are you talking about?
The scripture says, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." I'm sorry, Gregor, it's not my place to speak about the sins of others.
Tell me something about how the new abbot will be elected.
A new abbot has to be elected once the old one dies. All the brethren can vote, with the exception of novices. The abbot's crozier will be conferred on whoever is chosen, and he'll take the vow. When he becomes abbot, a monk spends most of his time dealing with politics outside the monastery, instead of actually leading the monastery. But he still maintains a fundamental influence on life here.
Can you tell me about Abbot Peter?
Peter's wise in the ways of politics and a good shepherd, but as you've already heard, he's old and infirm. The other brothers see him with one foot in the grave, but I still have hope for him. But you, brother, don't let yourself get involved in the games of your superiors. Could you help me with something?
With what?
I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few more years to do good. What do you say?
Das, klar, auf jeden Fall.
What do you need me for?
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now, you know, most of the brothers believe every illness is a message from God, and that it's not our place to deny his will. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, then it's our duty to relieve people of their suffering. The cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the libri prohibiti, the forbidden books, those we aren't permitted to read.
Okay, ja, wir brauchen dringend einen Dietrich oder mehr.
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices, witchcraft and all manner of evil. Or so some people claim. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written by a pagan. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book is the work of a Saracen devil and must be kept under lock and key. Since then, no one can even talk about the book. But the three wise men were from the east, were they not?
Ja, Jerusalem liegt zufällig auch im Osten.
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. The cover has not only a Latin inscription, but also Saracen letters. Bring it to me, but leave the other books there. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would certainly begin to look into it, which is exactly what we don't want.
Okay.
Is there anything you can tell me that would help?
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one, or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or how. Perhaps Brother Salarius could help.
Why can't you do it yourself?
Because I'm one of the highest-ranking monks here, and one day I'd like to become abbot. Can you imagine me crawling around in the black of night searching for a forbidden book?
You could just ask for it.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried? Unfortunately, Librarian Cyril is a stubborn ass.
Okay.
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, you'll need to go at night. It's locked, but I'm sure you'll manage to get in. They say Brother Salarius understands locks, but don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it to me, and I'll then use it to make Peter's medicine. We'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
Okay, gut. Das ist ja schon mal.
Is there any way I could help you get elected? Somehow tip the scales in your favour?
What would you like to do? Climb up the tower and shout, "Vote for Nevelus, vote for Nevelus"?
Not exactly. You do have an opponent, John.
John isn't my opponent, he's my brother, just like you and everyone else here. We're all brothers in Christ. But there is something you could help me with. You must know there's a great deal of iniquity here in the monastery. I'd be interested to hear of anything I don't know about.
Should I find out for you what's going on around here?
Let me make this clear. I want to base my candidacy on putting things in order. But if I don't know exactly what's wrong, then my promises are just empty slogans.
Very good then. I'll find out what I can.
Thank you, brother.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Okay. Das könnte eine echt spannende Sache werden hier im Kloster. Jetzt schlafen hier schon alle. Oh, noch nicht alle. Ein Mönch, ein Novize Antonius und wer ist hier noch?
What's your step, brother?
Okay, so langsam müssten hier alle pennen auf jeden Fall, denke ich. Wir werden auch gleich unser Lager finden. Hier ist der Bruder Kellerer.
Leave me be, I wanna sleep.
Okay, wir schlafen scheinbar irgendwo ganz hinten. Hier. Das ist unser Bett. Scheinbar. Jo, dann würde ich sagen, schauen wir nochmal in unseren wunderbaren Kodex und morgen kümmern wir uns dann darum, dass wir hier mal ein bisschen was geregelt bekommen. Wir müssen vorm Schlafen auch noch unbedingt mal über das Klosterleben ein bisschen was lesen, damit wir Bescheid wissen, was wir hier machen müssen, wie der Tagesablauf aussieht und wir nicht irgendwie hier in irgendwelche kleinen Fettnäpfchen tappen. Das wäre unangenehm. Die Circatoren, mit denen ist, glaube ich, nicht zu spaßen. Volkslieder. Volksmusik basierte im Gegensatz zur Kirchenmusik auf der Dur-Tonleiter und war deswegen fröhlicher und optimistischer. In Böhmen und Mähren waren Volkslieder über Jahrhunderte ein Teil des täglichen Lebens auf dem Lande. Die meisten Lieder wurden mündlich weitergegeben, aber einige lassen sich auch noch in Gesangsbüchern und Chroniken finden. Manche dieser Lieder haben sich bis heute in irgendeiner Form bewahrt. Ja, die guten alten Volkslieder. Also für heute war es das dann, edle Damen und Herren. Ich bedanke mich bei euch fürs Zuschauen, wünsche euch noch einen wunderschönen Tag und hoffe, dass ihr beim nächsten Mal wieder mit dabei seid. Macht's gut und gehabt euch wohl.